It's finished. I'm now going to call the family out to see it. It's done.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Whoa.
That
is seriously
amazing.
cool.
Wow, that looks so nice.
We're going. You've left anything behind?
No, is this alright if I have a water bottle leaning here? Nothing that's going to break or...
No, you're good there. You're good there. Bye.
Love you.
After 10 months of the most ambitious and exciting four-wheel drive build of my career, Gwyn and I are finally getting to use it on an outback trip. We are heading out of rainy Perth northwards to the Pilbara, a vast area of remote outback cattle stations and an extraordinary coastline. Our first night's camp will be at the side of the road. A common practice in outback Australia. All we need to do is to get some distance from the road so as not to be woken up by the huge road trains. It's a trip free of a set itinerary. We're driving off into the wild, hoping for the best. This is the kind of travel that allows for lots of time to set up a good camp, few pressures and no deadlines. We did 560 kilometres today, an easy day. We only left home at, I don't know, it must have been about past 10, 11 o'clock. And we pulled over at the side of the road and we're on our way. We're on our way. And I'm getting used to the vehicle. It always takes me a bit of time to kind of just get used to a new vehicle, to get comfortable. It just takes me time. And I'm feeling so much more comfortable than I did on our first little test run, and I think it's largely because the shocks change has made all the difference in the world. So I went and bought myself a replacement Leatherman to replace the one that was stolen, and have to figure out now where the bottle opener is, because looks like it. I expected Leatherman to come rushing to my aid and send me a free one. They never did.
We like to dream.
Yes, so I had to... My other two were sponsored, but not from Leatherman head office, from Leatherman South Africa. So I bought the new Leatherman Free P2, one with the magnets and weighs nothing, and it's... Wave was my previous favourite one, and this one could be my new favourite. It's very nice. Very, very nice.
Super cool.
Very, very nice, I must say. That's a nice piece of kit. To me, there are two distinct ways of travelling by road in Australia. The one is that you can use almost any vehicle, tow any caravan, and you stick to the coast, and you will have a lot of tourists with you. Occasionally you might get lucky and be on your own, but that will be unusual. The other part is to use highly competent four-wheel drive vehicles if you're going to tow, it's a small off-road trailer, is to find desert tracks and camp completely on your own. And if you're lucky enough and you've got a bit of local knowledge or whatever, you can find the tracks down to remote and lonely beaches. But doing that alone, on your own, can be quite difficult, because you might need assistance in getting the reason why there's no people there is because it's difficult to get there. We're kind of on this trip bit of each. But it seems things are not going to be as simple as we had hoped. We're just filling up, we're at Meekatharra, filling up with fuel. Just learned that the it's a very difficult word to say, as are many of these Aboriginal words. Karla Milyi National Park is closed because of COVID-19, and I was chatting to some chaps who pulled me over at the service station. They just were admiring the vehicle. They don't know anything about the channel or anything. They just admire the vehicle. Came over, said hello, as is common traveling in Australia, and they mentioned that they were thinking about going there, but they found out that it was closed. So we cannot take our original route. I checked, it was fine.
It was fine.
But there's a small little alert thing. It wasn't on their website, and you picked it up now. We double checked, and there's a tiny little window alert, and you clicked it, and it's closed. So we have to find another route. Out with the maps.
Australia is very big.
Maps.
I mean, it's not as if we're not going to find a bit of remoteness.
Yes, but the remotenesses are closed because of the same reason why this is closed. Other remote roads are closed as well. It's not okay. The distances are so long that you can't just take a chance and drive and suddenly you find, oh, it's closed, and you have to travel all the way back on that same road. I mean,
yep.
You know, we have to be smart about it. So can you grab some maps? We've driven from Perth up to a town called Newman, which is where we had intended to leave the main road. And it's here that I'll fill up all the tanks. Okay, fill up with water. This is easy. I've had some challenges in my time, and I've got this kit. This will solve almost any water situation. This is going to be an easy one. Okay, we're good. So the range of the vehicle is the same as the troop carrier that had 90 plus 90 litre tanks. This has got a 130 plus a 110. Range is about the same because my consumption is quite a bit higher. In this I carry everything I need, filling up with water, jumper cables, and oil, gearbox oil, and main engine oil, and transmission fluid. That's what I put in that box. I slowed down, looking for a place to camp. It's 4:30. The light is becoming beautiful. We're looking for a track into the bush. I'd like to find a nice tree with some anthills next to it, and the yellow grass.
It's perfect. That's our order.
Now we could drive straight over the Spinifex, but I prefer not to do that. I'm going to look for a campsite. So, you know what I'm tempted to do? I'm tempted to just drive in that direction over there because it's open grassland, it's easy to see. And I think Okay, there's where the graders push the earth off the road, they leave a track, and there's a track, so we're going to climb on that. It'll be a bit sandy, and then I can see a clump of trees that I rather like. So I'm going to go into four-wheel drive and swing her around.
So how does this feel?
It's pretty exciting. I love doing this. I've done this a lot. Is come off the road, drive for a kilometre, off-road, and find a spot to camp. Can you see the tree over there that I'm heading for?
Yes, I can.
This is a very, very young spinifex, so it's not dangerous. Not bad, eh? Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Bit of a clearing here. I'll just reverse it slightly. So this is our area where we're sitting. She's just meeting her first spinifex. The baby.
So cute!
They're not cute.
They are when they look like this. I mean, man,
Okay, so
it's
now that's a
freaking-
more mature one. Okay, this is more mature, and what they sometimes do is that they actually become a circle, and the animals look for that. The roos will actually go inside, or any animal looking for protection would actually go inside a small circle of spinifex and sleep there.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to cause trouble with you in here.
I'll just come back slightly, and how are we nearly, which are we flat? We're pretty flat.
I reckon that's a beautiful truck.
It is. We're slightly nose down, which is one of the things with this vehicle. It is. Amongst my kit are MaxTrax recovery aids, and they're not just useful for recovery. Here they will prevent blood from rushing to our heads while we sleep.
All in the name of art, because tomorrow morning you'll have a beautiful sunrise with this tree.
This is Gwyn's very first trip into the Australian outback.
It's been a really interesting day. I had a different vision of what the outback was like. I expected it to be a lot of the same, quite the red sand, the bushes, because I've seen your stuff. I've
Yes.
seen your videos. I know what it looks like. I've seen pictures. So I expected a day driving of seeing basically the same thing. And while essentially you could say, yeah, that's pretty much what happened, but it's not, because the landscape changes all the time in the sense that there'll be grass and then there's no grass, and then the bushes are all very, very shrubby, and then suddenly you'll get some trees and the colours change, and it's a changing landscape the whole time. So while it is very much the same, it is also very different, which made it extremely interesting for me today. I saw some things that were really beautiful.
I echoed the same, particularly on the Canning Stock route, when I keep harping back when I'm talking to you, but that was my most memorable Australian experience. And what was so striking was that the one day would be, even if you had 3 days of sand dunes, in between the sand dunes it would change completely, and then it would go back to sand dunes, and then it would change again, and the change was remarkable, and that's what I loved so much about it. And I think the Pilbara is prettier than the Kimberley. It just appeals more to me, visually, landscapey. It just does.
But it was beautiful today. And then you'd see that the areas, those springs, with the white ghost gum
The
trees.
ghost gums
And
in the yellow grass, these
they're
spring.
like fairy circles of gum trees and these beautiful white trees, and it's green, and it's just so exquisite. And then the flowers, the wild flowers, are just gorgeous. So it's been a beautiful day, absolutely beautiful. Australia, you have done well.
Are you feeling a little bit more comfortable with the camper now?
Yes, definitely.
Things are starting to find their
Come
place.
together and find their place. Do you want some alpine?
Yes, please. I've got a little bit of milk on the other side too. So the kitchen is half here, half there. It still hasn't quite moved, hasn't migrated over here properly yet.
You see, the problem is the fridge is on the wrong side.
I've often said that with when people, when I'm working with them to build a vehicle for them, is that they are hell bent on having the fridge in the kitchen, and it's the wrong way of looking at it. It's a difficult thing to get through, but interestingly, Gwyn has actually picked it up.
I don't need the fridge next to where I'm preparing food. I'll go to the fridge. You're trying to conserve energy anyway, so you'll go to the fridge twice a day. You'll go to the fridge in the morning and you'll take out what you need from the freezer or whatever to get it defrosting, and at night you'll go to the fridge once to take out whatever stuff you need for dinner. It doesn't need a prime spot. Ideally, you want all your cooking on that side.
So
put
what
the
we
fridge
actually
here.
whoa. This is easy. We take the fridge slide and we put it here.
And we get
And we
some
take this and we do some kind of access
drawer.
system.
We do some drawers.
We do one of Rob's super light wood
drawers,
drawer system.
but it gets rid of lugging stuff and
We're doing this
all the time.
all the time.
It's like this
Constantly.
round the maypole. We're doing this dance.
And you're thinking, oh, what side of the car is this on? So you come on this side. Oh no, we moved it. We go back to the other side.
yeah.
And that's what we're going through right now.
Logistically, I'm trying to get everything that relates to preparing a meal, cooking a meal, consuming a meal on that side.
So that when we have the awning put on,
On that
everything
side.
is that's our activity spot. Which is how we had it on the troop carrier, if you remember.
And which
the
is
fridge
why it
was on
works.
this side. The shower
Yes.
was on this side.
Because you don't use
You
them.
don't exactly, and it
use
worked
them-
better than this.
Yeah.
It's an
Rob,
easy.
we love you so much.
Yes, come and make us a drawer system, Rob. But it's got to be lightweight because, as you know, we're.
Rob's going to have to come camping with us.
Oh, hold on a minute. And I'm pretty happy with the handling of the vehicle right now. It is handling well, and I haven't been off road. Apart from that little thing there where the vehicle did this, you know, when you have a weight issue on a vehicle such as this, i.e. too much weight behind the axle, which is what I tried hard to do, correcting it by moving the rear axle back by 300 millimeters, extending the chassis length by 300 millimeters, but actually shortening the bed length. In effect, moving the weight forward. So, and only off-road when you start getting this weight transfer as the vehicle climbs and drops and falls, that weight transfer, that's when a badly loaded vehicle tells. It becomes difficult to control, it becomes awkward to control, the front wheels tend to lift up a lot, you tend to lose traction on the front axle very, very quickly, the back wheels, if the ground is soft, sink in very quickly because the weight balance is too much on the back and not enough on the front. Steering starts to become vague in extreme cases. So that's not happening now. The car's actually feeling quite good. I'm happy with it. And I'm worried about now taking that amount of weight and putting it on the back. It will affect things negatively. The suspension, because it was fitted, we've done, I don't know how many kilometers, but enough for me to need to check it. they were loose. Before we head off today, I must check the suspension components. Work done just before we left. This includes top and bottom bolts of the front shock absorbers.
That's good. They were just a tad loose. Yo, it's prickly under here.
Rear shocks likewise, and importantly the rear spring U-bolts.
Couldn't check the U-bolts because my tube socket, 19 tube socket, has gone. I always keep my tools in there. I don't move them about, so why it's gone, I don't know, but I guess you can't check it.
Son-in-law.
You cannot, it could be called that, but you cannot check absolutely everything.
We can no longer go through the Caravan National Park.
Yep.
We will go as far as we can. We'll find a place to bush camp tonight, and then tomorrow we'll come back. Instead of going all the way up, tomorrow we'll come back and we'll continue up there towards Marble Bar and the coast.
Okay.
That's all. We need more of this, and we'll get more of this. We just have to go looking for it. So we are on the first stretch of gravel at speed. What do you reckon? The ride?
It's good.
It's good,
It's
eh?
actually very good. We hit a cattle grid. Well, we didn't hit it, we were warned, but it handled it beautifully.
Huh? No, my feet are soaking. My socks are wet.
Oh dear.
It's so pretty.
It's gorgeous. Maybe any vile Australian waterborne diseases one should be aware of.
Not that I know of. So you mean Bilharzia, for example?
Yeah.
Is Bilharzia an African disease? I don't know. You don't get Bilharzia here, but you might get a similar thing. Being Australia, where everything's trying to kill you, something. Going on your tiptoes doesn't help.
Store-bought princess. Actually, my socks are all right. It's the top of them that got nailed.
You know, if you stay on the main roads, you miss this kind of stuff. We just carry on like we've been doing. You never know what we might find.
Around the next corner.
What was it?
You get these areas where you'll suddenly have these little rocks on top of the sand, and there'll be these little patches of it. And as you're driving along, it looks like water. And I wanted to stop and have a look at it. It really does look. Does it look like it's been? Quite pretty. Science Experiment 101.
It's magnetic, so just pull that off there. Just
It's already got something
pull it off the
clinging
strap.
to it.
Pull it off the strap. So see how much material that it picks up when you put it on the ground. Just put it on the ground.
Ooh, it's jumping. So cool. That's fun.
That's how much magnetic material is here. That's astonishing.
Incredible. Let's do it again. say we'll be taking this off forever. So, there's method in the madness of why Andrew's taking this firewood home. Maybe he will tell you. Or not. You'll have to wait and see.
So we are going to have to turn around. We've hit a couple of signposts saying no entry, restricted entry, and this particular part of the road, actually you need a permit anyway. Even if it wasn't a COVID situation, you would need a permit on this piece of road. So I'm not allowed to be on this road, so we're going to go back. And all we can do really now is go back the way we came. But we did see some interesting places that we think we might be able to find a really nice spot to camp. So I think we're just going to wander back, and we tried. We had to give it a try. Yeah, you see that's the road there. That's Billanuka Access Road. Yeah, we won't be doing that. Okay, we tried. All good. Well, it's just before 2. We should actually look out for a campsite. I mean, we should just drive the routes.
I am.
Okay, good.
I am.
Because we could, if we find a really lovely place, hopefully with a bit of shade, we could just park. If we really like it, maybe just stay a couple of nights. Just enjoy the nothingness.
Yes.
So the Parnagur community, which is 244 kilometers, is closed to us. And that's the road that goes next to the national park that we wanted to visit, and the national park is closed. And there's another sign over there saying no entry to Jigalong and Cotton Creek. Jigalong is another Aboriginal community, not allowed in, and that's that way. But I thought driving along here, having the sign on that side of the road meant that that was the road that was closed. But I don't think it is, because Jigalong is that way, so I'm assuming that that actually means that way. That sign should be on that side of the road. Not, it's a little bit confusing, but I believe that not far along there will be another signpost saying no entry as we get close to Parngur community. What do you want to do?
Well, I think we should go down and see. And if we have to turn back, well, then we turn back. No big deal.
We have turned onto the Tallawana track. If we were to stay on this track for a couple of days and it was open, we would eventually reach the only refueling point on the Canning Stock route.
Just travel without deadlines. Best kind of travel.
So nice.
We found a very interesting looking bush track into a cattle station.
No harm in trying.
I think that's what we'll call the show. No harm in trying.
Yes. But we need to help the viewers with the shot out the windscreen.
Yeah. Oh, you just like keeping me working, that's all. Thought I was here on holiday.
Yeah, right.
Chance would be a fine thing.
You might need to take the lens cap off. Your better shots are always taken with the lens cap off.
Yes.
It's not always.
Oh, well.
Gwynnie, I have a good feeling about this. I think we follow the road. It's going into the valley there. Look at these beautiful trees. There's obviously a creek. The flies might be bad here. It's a good chance the flies are going to be bad, but we don't know.
Well, like everything else, let's go and
No
see.
harm in trying.
No harm in trying. So do you want to tell me what your dastardly plan is?
I don't know. That's a very, very steep track. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. I think we could drive up it. So, I think what we should do is stop here and have a bite to eat and suss out how bad the flies are. But it's a beautiful spot, and I think we we'll take the Land Cruiser for its first proper off-road drive and drive up the top of that hill. That's after all why I built it. I'll sit on a log and have lunch. Oh, I live for this stuff. Just fantastic. So this would be, for your information, a cattle station. The size of this cattle station is probably about the size of most European countries, probably bigger than some of them. And I didn't see any no entry signs. It is private property, so we'll respect it as such, but it's, you know, they probably visit here, the people visit here probably 2 or 3 times a year and come and muster the cattle and take them away. But there's me sweetheart on a log.
With the lunch.
This is a good log.
Yep.
Very good log.
I've got an eye for logs. I've got an eye for logs.
Okay.
So, you're going to drive over the mountain, and then
Find a place to camp.
on the other side of the mountain.
I don't know.
After a while we realized there were very few flies, lunch was good, and so was this campsite. Actually, it was better than good, so we decided to stay.
Just for the
Shoveling. If you ever find that being a YouTuber doesn't, suit you anymore, there's a job for you at...
Shut your face.
The perfect campsite. Let me describe it to you. Nobody else around, beautiful surroundings, gorgeous sunset, spending time with the one that you love, and of course with the camper perfectly level. Reaching this utopia sometimes takes a bit of effort.
That's good. That's very good. See, if the drawer doesn't slide either way, it means the car is horizontal. Very good. So now I need a piece of string to see if we're... Where will I find a piece of string? Maybe in the fishing tackle.
Nothing anal about this at all. And we're busy having a debate as to which side of the car is
All right,
down.
now, let's see. Let's see. Oh, there. That will hang. It's so close, Gwynnie. It is so close. If you look behind it, and if the line is parallel to that, then that is pointing to Middle Earth, because we know that that's pointing to Middle Earth. So if we line
Will
it
there
up,
be hobbits?
yes. If you line it up, it is, the vehicle is very slightly down on the left by, I mean, it's like this much at the bottom there. It's like not even half a degree.
So you're saying I was wrong?
Yeah, we're both wrong.
And that, folks, is how you solve an argument in the White household.
Go fishing. filming a time lapse. Let me show you what I'm doing. The sun is well down. There's the images that it's taking. Okay, it's taking one photograph every 2 seconds. Okay, and what I did is I wanted shape to the frame. So there's a lovely tree there, beautiful tree. And then of course that's a beautiful tree too, but they're quite different. And then the camber between the two of them. And of course we're lucky enough tonight to have a really, really good moon.
It's been such a fabulous day. We camped early and we both just relaxed. I read and Andrew sorted flies and played with his drone. And we had a really nice shower and got clean, and then we've got this and a full moon and just heaven. Thanks for bringing me.
Very glad I could bring you and show you this.
It's really been so lovely to get out and to see the country and to...
Perfect. Wind's gone. The wind was wonderful, keeping things cool. There weren't that many flies. Not a sound. Not a sound.
Just feel more grounded in the place. No longer just an urbanite.
You deserve to know that I have found my limit when it comes to this electrical system in the vehicle. I left my kettle at home on purpose, and while I find it, I have no problem in dealing with the fact that I now have such a powerful system that I can make myself a really nice cup of coffee with my little coffee machine. I have not descended to boiling water with a $5 electric kettle. There is a limit, and that's it.
You see, it's not that the equipment can't boil water with an electric kettle. But I want to boil water using my favourite kit. I want to boil water using the campfire. Something in me feels slightly uncomfortable with the ease of boiling water using an electric kettle. And the fact that I don't want to boil water in a kettle puts my ideas of electric induction cooking in question. I'm just not sure if I want to do it at this time. It doesn't mean to say I'll never do it, but not now.
Sometimes I like to walk away from my camp, get a bit of distance from it, and to kind of see the camp from what it is. And of course, photography-wise, the drone allows us to do that like we've never done it before. Now, on close inspection, would my vehicle have made it? Not easily. Steep. Quite a bit more weight on the back wheels than the front. Lift up the front. Lose traction on the front. And it's loose ground. Loose pebbles. Very difficult to gain traction. So I can see myself about here losing contraction and stopping. And I have to go back. I have minimal braking on the front wheels, because as I go back and stop and slow, so less and less weight is on the front axle as I'm going up. I could drive up there. I could. I think I could. But I'm not going to while I'm on my own. I think that would be silly. We're going to stay here today. It's the perfect campsite for me. Absolutely nobody, anywhere, beautiful. It's a gorgeous place to be, just being here. And it's part of me that just loves nothingness. So we're just going to chill out, make a few videos, tell a few stories, and just spend the day here. I have enough, we have plenty of water, we have good solar power, and we can stay here as long as we like.
Things are a little bit Heath Robinson around here this morning. And I would go so far as to say that this trip is an extension of the shakedown. One of the problems is that we don't have the awning up. The awning, we just ran out of time, which means we are now having to chase the sun or chase the shade around the vehicle. Thankfully, the vehicle is big, so there is a fair amount of shade. But that means we're moving around like nomads around this vehicle. So that's a problem that will be solved once we've got the awning up. The other issue is, as we've already explained, the layout of the kitchen that really isn't working, the fridge being on the wrong side and what have you. And a valid question you may have is, why didn't I get involved while all this was happening? Because I probably could have prevented some of these errors. If I would have immediately said, fridge on the other side, I need a drawer. I would have said that up front. But there was a valid reason. As many of you probably know, I'm an author. That's what I do for a living. But in January, I had a massive, massive burnout. And I haven't been able to write a word since the end of January. And it was traumatic. It was really, really traumatic for me. And then we went into ISO, which meant that I was staying home as much as I could, and Andrew would go to Quick Pitch where this was happening, essential work. So I just wasn't involved. The first time I really got involved was just before our previous shakedown. I started to have a bit of an epiphany that maybe the fact that I wasn't writing the way I had been was actually a good thing. I began to see the blessing in my burnout. I began to see that I had, as a result of the burnout and the fact that I wasn't writing so intensely, I had time for other things. I could get back other things that I love and have loved all my life but had let go. And one of them was this. So that's the gift in the burnout.
A little later that morning, a man in a Land Cruiser drove in.
So that's the Borman of the property. He just came past now, and he's going up there to see if there's any cell phone signal for us, and if there is, he'll come back and give me a thumbs up. And when I saw him here, I just went to speak to him. I asked him if we could stay, and he said, typical Australian fashion, no problem. So we'll wait for him to come back and give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
What the hell is a Borman? Does he make holes in furniture?
Oh, a Borman. A Borman is the station will have a Borman, and he will drive around checking the levels of the reservoirs attached to a bore. So this will be a borehole, and he will check the levels because the cattle will need drinking water. He'll also look for feral animals that are causing the problem. They're often armed, so they can get rid of feral animals, and any cattle that are very sickly, he'll either report them or he'll put them down on the spot. So that's what he is.
The close proximity to the bore is one of the reasons why we decided to camp here. Standing water means much more bird life.
So we are camped at a cattle station, and there's a trough down here with fresh water. We wanted it because it was birds. Hunting for a spinifex pigeon. Andrew saw one a little while ago and he came to call me, and they're on my wish list of birds to see. And you would think that the flies would be bad. Thankfully they haven't been. The wind has helped, I think, but no more flies than you would get anywhere else. It's clearly a time of the year thing, because if there were going to be flies, this is the place where they would be. I mean, there's some gorgeous cowpats right over there, a whole lot. The wind scuppered our plans. We were going to have a barbecue tonight, but there's no way we can do a fire with the wind like this. So, it's pasta.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Gwen? Just explain to me what you're doing.
I'm sitting here watching this. It's very cloudy, patchy cloud, with this incredible full moon, and we're watching it sort of going in and out of these clouds, and when it breaks free, it's so bright you could read by it. It's so pretty and interesting, and the shapes in the sky are just so exciting.
Of course it's early, you silly bint. What do you think mornings are for? Australian bush calls. Most of them I have no idea what they are, which is exciting because I now get to see a whole lot of new birds, but it's also a little frustrating because it's difficult to know where to begin with certain bird calls. We'll be leaving here today, and we're still kind of ahead of our schedule. So we're going to, we found a place on the map that we're going to go to. It's as simple as that. And I'm going to see what happens when we get there. This is what it's all about. All that driving, all that effort, just to be able to sit and watch absolutely nothing. With a nice cup of coffee.
Leaving the yard.
Driving a short distance back on the main road, we again crossed the Fortescue River. Gwyn suggested that there might be a track running along its bank. She was right.
So I've just boiled the water. The plan here is to get my potatoes cooked while we're driving. Peeled them up, and I'm now just going to cover them with some boiling water. Stick the lid back on. And actually don't even really need to do this. It'll hold the whole thing in place. And ow, 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 hot, hot, hot. I'm going to put it in my bean bag. Now this is quite a cool little invention. It's used in countries where they don't have a lot of fuel and oh, where's the end? So that's it. The bean bag will now trap the heat. The potatoes will sit in the boiling water and they will cook in their own heat, and I will just stick this somewhere out the way, and when I want to come and make my mashed potatoes tonight, they'll be ready. Well, the mashed potatoes, now that would be great. If I could then find a house elf to...
We are trying to relax. Trying. And failing to relax. I don't know about you, I find it extremely difficult to relax.
After 5 nights of camping in the bush, it's time to head for the coast. We are not expecting to be alone, but it would be nice to find something without too many people.
Yes, I use bar. I don't use PSI. Do you use inches? Do you use pounds? Do you use kilograms? Do you use centimeters and meters? So why do you use pounds per square inch? I'm not going to now change to start using PSI. I think everybody else in Australia, and I think Australia, well, not the last country left doing it, but it is the last metric country to still insist using imperial measures for pressure. Don't get it. I'm sticking with bar. Full marks to ARB for their tire gauge pump thing. Very nice. We've arrived at a caravan park near the coast, yeah, well, this is it. This is what it looks like. This kind of camping I loathe. I'd rather be home. This goes against all my principles of camping. So we're both very tired, prepared to bite the bullet for tonight. We might even get a chalet, you know, freshen up properly and take a break from camping, and then, yeah. But I knew that this was going to be the problem. It's on the coast. Australian caravan parks on the coast that are accessible by grey nomads are always full. Except for the hottest parts of the year, they are full.
And unfortunately it's taken so long to get here, it's too late now to head off exploring, looking for a campsite.
What's going on?
I am so tired.
How much?
You want to know the damages?
What?
Can't it be like the Queen Mary and we just never talk about it?
Okay, come on, jump in.
$180.
Okay, no, that's okay. 180 is fine. The other place was 400 and I said, come on. 180 is fine. Okay,
Yeah, no, I
right.
think
Where
it's
do we go?
fine.
What number?
We're on number 9, so we can go down there.
That's number
or
8.
there.
Oh no, that's the speed limit. I told you I'm tired.
This is not for me.
Hmm?
Sure. Why would you want to do this?
This must be it here. A very narrow parking spot, but that's okay. I can drive properly. What you doing?
I'm just giving out the supper. It's not heat. I didn't use the little buddy. I just used it to defrost. So
Oh, okay.
I'm going to stick this in a pot with my potatoes that I'm going to mash, and we're going to have cottage pie.
We have a choice. If we continue close to the coast without local knowledge of specific places where you can get onto the beach and camp with some chance of not being cheek by jowl with other campers. Every public campsite on the west side of Australia right now will be like this. Because even in low season, they're full. And because of COVID-19, a lot more travel, more people are on the road because they can't go overseas, so they're on the road. And so we have a dilemma. We have to deal with this.
And let's be honest.
It's
We-
not
we-
my deal at all.
We both suffer terrible sense of humour failure when we're in situations like this. We become grumpy. And that's not nice. So
Okay, solution time. But I should say though to grey nomads watching, I understand why you do it. Because what's the alternative? The alternative is sit in suburbia maybe and just watch television, go to the mall. This is better than that. You get to see the whole country.
I meet people.
And you probably meet some really, really interesting people. And I often used to dream about the
doing this.
idea of driving around Australia. But yeah, it's not quite what I thought it would be like. So I can understand it, but it's not me. You know, no thanks. I mean, we both have been very lucky. We've spent a lot of our time traveling to some amazing places. So therefore, this wouldn't appeal to us. So we will be overnighting at Port Sampson, which is a little bit west of Port Hedland, which is well known for its terminus taking Australia's red iron ore around the world. In fact, there's a terminus right over there. And on the horizon, far away, 17 ore carriers waiting to load up and leave, which we will be doing tomorrow morning.
So let's see how my potatoes are. So let's see what has happened in here. It's nice and warm. And thank you. Beautiful.
Go.
Beautiful.
Ready for mashing?
Ready for mashing.
We didn't film much of this morning, did we?
No.
You know what was nice though? Was seeing our river.
Yes.
And so we're back on the main road, joining the grey nomads and road trains. This again is the Fortescue River, the same river next to which we camped a few nights back. Studying the map more closely, we've had an idea.
And, we thought we would actually find a bush camp on our way down to Coral Bay, because that's the area that I was really looking forward to, Ningaloo Reef and that area. So we will definitely be going there, but on the way there we've taken a little detour to, what is this place called? It's a little conservation area in the middle of the...
It's called Cane River Conservation Park.
So Cane River Conservation Park, which is on the main north-south coastal road, and we're going to find a place to. There are no official campsites there at all, but there is a dirt track that goes off, which we're actually getting quite close to. If you look at that, we're close to it. About 200 kilometers ish from our fuel stop,
which was at Caravan. And we've invented 2 new games that I'm allowing Andrew to win for his self-esteem.
Yes.
The first one is guessing the temperature.
So we have a switch on the dashboard that switches from clock to temperature. It's actually pretty accurate. So we have to
Guess the outside
guess, and
temperature.
I'm winning 5-1.
We'll just keep in thinking.
Yeah. You keep thinking that, darling. As long as you're happy, then everything's fine.
And then the other game we've started is guessing how many trailers are on a road train.
When it's coming directly towards you, you cannot see how many trailers.
Yes. You've got to kind of take a fly. I'm doing really well with that one.
Well, we've tried the game once.
And he changed the rules.
She misunderstood my answer.
He changed the rules.
You can have it. It's yours.
Done.
It's yours. You are so stupid to come up with a game like that, and you came up with it because your long distance sight is not great.
It's pathetic.
Even with your glasses on.
When Andrew
And mine's really good.
When
That's
Andrew
short
and I
distance
met,
glass.
we were both well, he started me flying gliders. Loved it. But I never managed to go solo because my long distance sight, my any sight, and as for my depth perception, oh dear me, it brings tears to the eyes. So yeah.
Depth perception is not great, so
I could never
it's
land.
quite important for flying.
I could never land. This person who spots the track gets 50 cents.
Everything's a competition with her. Everything. How many pies can you eat in an hour? What's that? Is that it?
That looks like a
That
track.
looks
Ominously
it's
like a track.
very, very, very. It's not well marked at all. If anything, I just want to double check because it appears that it's on the apex of this corner. All right, beautiful country.
Yep.
This is my kind of country. Dust. Drone out. Remote out. So my new system in the back of my car allows me to set up cameras and things here. I can get to all my camera equipment in this drawer here, and drones, and I've got microphones and everything, charging units, the whole bang shoot. And I have to tell you, it's the best I've ever had in any vehicle by a long, long way. and I custom designed it. Rob Quick Pitch built it out of this incredibly lightweight plywood that he used. The weight of this thing is probably no more than the seat that it took out. Fantastic. So I'm loving this. Just now, see that battery is not great. The whole idea of having my camera equipment so easily accessible. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. So that goes onto charge with the charging device already there. It's a new one. How's that? That's full. Right.
Let's go play.
Let's go play. We're higher than the trees, so we're going to go active track. It's a gorgeous image.
That is a sensationally beautiful tree there. Eh?
It soon became obvious that somebody had camped here before.
Sense that
They know where to go. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, I don't know what it is. There's obviously somebody who's camped here. Not recently. That's a very old campsite, but it's still a campsite. Gwynnie?
It's almost like a sixth sense. People that love camping wild are so often rewarded for their efforts when they find beautiful spots to camp.
I'm thinking 2 nights here.
So this is it. This is our beautiful little home on wheels. The bed is quite a bit smaller than we've got at home, definitely. So that's been a bit of an adjustment, but we're getting through that. I find my arms are all over Andrew and his legs are all over me, but we're getting sorted 7 days in. One of the things that we've spoken to you a lot about is the packing. You know, we've been quite anal about it, I'm sure, on how to pack and why it's important to pack and to get everything right. And there's a good reason for it. Camping is actually pretty tiring. It's hard work. You're always looking for something. You're climbing up, you're climbing down, you're in the tent, you're zipping this, you're back into the car. So if you don't have things in order and you don't know where things are and you have to go on a search and rescue expedition every time you want to find something, it gets old very, very quickly. So that's one of the reasons why we've been pushing this whole thing, you know, order, a place for everything in its place. So it just makes it fun. It brings back the fun and takes out the slog. So everything in its place, that is what we've tried to do in here. So following on from that idea of a place for everything in its place, it really also applies in your tent, you're sleeping, wherever you're sleeping, whether it's a fancy palace like this or it's just a two-man tent on the ground, whatever. If you want to be comfortable, in this whole camping game, you've actually got to prepare yourself. And one of the things for me is I like to wake up in the morning and do a bit of reading on my phone. So I like to know that my phone is charging overnight. I also have a stupid Apple Watch, which requires a charge. So I'm blessed, I've got USBs. But if you don't have a USB, you can always take a brick like this into your tent. The point I'm making here is make yourself comfortable, because the camping is such a big part of overlanding. And if you're not comfortable at night, the days can be really rough. So other things that we've done to make it comfortable for me. I'm blessed with a bladder the size of an egg cup. So the whole concept of me being able to make it through the night without needing a pee, I mean, it's just not on this planet. Never going to happen. And I'm not brave at heart, really, when it comes to getting up at night to go and pee. So I've had too many African stories. One of the classic ones was our friend Sarah, who leapt out of the tent in the middle of the night and scrambled over to a bush to have a pee. And in the morning, the lions walked out from around that bush, and it had been very clear that they'd slept the whole night there and had probably watched her having her pee. Well, that kind of put me off for life. So I make a plan for those nighttime events. I've done peas in everything from ice cream tubs to packets. Now I've got smart. I've got my bucket. I've got a heavy duty plastic bag in it. It just sits on the floor here, and when nature calls, done. And I just deal with it in the morning. So for people like me, that's the solution. Things get pretty grimy in a tent, and in the old days we used to use a dustpan and brush, and we actually considered leaving this behind when we were packing up, because we went out, because we've got all this power, we went out and splurged on one of these. It's a cordless vacuum cleaner. But we quickly realized that a brush is indispensable. You use it for so much. So while I didn't bring the dustpan this time, I have got my brush and I use it every day for something. The reason for this mainly is because everything gets very grimy. It gets very dusty. You trail dirt in. It's not so bad in the camper because our bed is above it. But if you're in a tent on the ground and you've got your mattress on the ground and your sleeping bag and you're traipsing dirt in, and that gets, oh no, it's just awful. That's why you need to have some cleaning kit. And today is the day that I'm going to be doing some vacuuming.
This has actually been an amazing day. We just relaxed. You know, how often do you get an opportunity, and it's not something that you can do at home because there are always demands on your time, and a situation like that where you just have nothing around you, nothing much to take care of apart from lunch and looking at the trees, listening to the wind. There you go. Nothing like making a fire. Very therapeutic.
Yeah. There's a fire over there, and it's difficult to know how far away it is. This is very reminiscent for me of our experience at Delta Camp, where we were on an island in the Okavango, and we had fires raging around us, and it was literally, you know, do we get on a boat and try and escape? And it was really not a comfortable feeling. And so I'm feeling a level of tension right now. It's hard to say how far away it is, but the wind is coming in our direction, so what do you reckon, Droon?
But this isn't an area of thick forest. It's a very sparse forest. So it would, see, I can see it flickering. And it would travel much slower during, but I've been looking around here, picking up firewood, and there has not that distant pass of fire that has passed through this area, because I've been finding charred logs, and actually we've been burning some of them on the less burnt ones, the singed ones, on our campfire. What we need to do tonight, I would say, is pack up a little more thoroughly than we would normally pack up, and then I'll set an alarm for every, say, 2 hours. If we cannot see any advancement from the time we go to bed, set an alarm every 2 hours with the binoculars upstairs, and then if we see anything that is threatening, it's very easy for us to get on the track and drive south on the southerly track that we came in on.
Yeah.
So we survived the fire. Yeah, we did really well. It went out. So we were pleased about that. But now this morning we have to cope with something else. And that is a flood. I'm not kidding. The weather has changed completely, as you can see. And we've looked on the weather radar, and we are about to be dumped on. 100% chance of rain in this area, and a 200% chance of rain in the place that we're heading to now. I say 200% because it's actually raining at this very second there now. And there is a severe weather forecast warning for here, and a little bit further south where we wanted to go. This is going to be really interesting. If we head south, even as far inland as we are now, which is not that far away from the coast, we're going to hit weather.
This whole Gascon wheat belt area. By 11 o'clock this morning, they've got an 80% chance of rain.
Okay, and that is Gascoyne Junction.
That's Gascoyne Junction, which was done here on the map.
Right on the Kennedy Range National Park.
Yeah.
Okay, can I take that from you?
Yeah. Good news keeps on coming.
Okay.
There's a fire weather warning for the Gascon Inland, this southern district, and extreme fire danger is forecast in the following fire district: Gascon Inland. And the Department of Fire and Emergency Service advises you to action your bushfire survival plan now.
Action your bushfire survival plan now.
Do we have one?
Yeah, we drive away from the fire.
Maybe you should read it yourself. Gascon, Central West, Lower West, Southwest.
Okay, damaging winds possible through large parts of the state as a rain band and strong cold front move over during Sunday. Today's Saturday.
Sunday.
Sunday today. Heavy rain is also possible through the Central West and adjacent Gascoyne districts. Even with all that rain, they've also got the fire.
Yeah, but this is coming ahead of the rain. Because warm and dry conditions.
Because it's warm and windy.
Yeah, ahead of the rain.
Should we try and get to the Kennedy Range Park? I'm guessing that we could do that.
Do you want me to get that up on the app?
Today.
Give me a...
Uluwara Road, it's called. Okay, it'll be very remote.
Give
It'll
me
be
a
very
little
pretty.
town or something close to it that would likely have a weather station.
Actually, Gascoyne Junction is a Gascoyne Junction.
Gascoyne Junction is where the weather warning is.
That's where the weather warning is. southwest now, so it's kind of coming back a bit, but that's okay. So look at that dust, eh? In the distance.
It's probably what our old campsite looks like. And our last campsite, I bet it looks just like that.
Right, we're back. We have decided not to actually head east. We had a look at the weather forecast and we realised that the gale will be past the coast within 2 days. So tonight is definitely the worst. And so we thought, well, let's actually drive into the storm and find accommodation for the night, out of the wind, out of the rain, because by this time tomorrow it will be passing through. By the end of tomorrow, it might actually be quite nice. So, yes, we're going to lose 2 days. So Gwynnie is now booking a accommodation in Exmouth for the two of us for the night. And the Exmouth coast is, I've never been there. It is spectacular, I believe.
Is this where it all ends?
Yeah. Nice, eh? Are you saying that we should have taken a nice hotel? This is the nicest hotel available in Western Australia right now.
The last room standing.
The last room standing. That's what
Actually a disabled
on the.
room.
We've been logging all our GPS camping points, and we're going to call this
The last room.
last room standing. They've even opened a piece of flat ground in the middle of Exmouth. This then is the cricket oval at Exmouth. It is not a camping site. And last night when we arrived, it was packed. Because wild camping is not permitted on the Exmouth Peninsula. So they've just done that because it's full.
You better explain why it's full, because it's not always full.
All right, it's full. It's normally busy because of the grey nomads, even though this is out of tourist season. So you have the grey nomads, which makes it busy. COVID-19 meant that most Western Australians that would normally go on holiday to Bali, and they all do, I mean really high numbers do, because Bali is close and inexpensive and fantastic, cannot, so they have to stay in Western Australia. Not only that, the grey nomads that are here, that have come in from other countries,
Other states,
can't leave because of the quarantine issues.
the borders are closed.
The borders are closed.
Hard closed. The borders are hard closed.
And this area here, from here down to the coast to Shark Bay, the westernmost point on the Australian mainland, is a hotspot for grey nomads and tourists.
But also it's winter now, but the weather here is lovely.
No, winter is high season.
Yeah, whereas down south, so you're not even getting a spread around the countryside. No. They've all avoided the cold down south to come up here.
Because down south the season is summer, not winter. Here the season is winter, not summer. So everybody's here now.
You could say that we misplanned our trip,
No,
but really we had no choice. We had no choice. We had been locked up since December.
I don't think it was a case of we didn't have any choice. We knew it was going to be busy. I knew it was going to be busy. I had no idea it was going to be this busy.
Yeah, but also we needed content. We needed to get out and do our job, or your job. I just come along for the ride. You needed to get out and do your job.
I know, and it is frustrating. And we've had a really, really good run in the bush. We have had a fantastic run actually in the bush.
We did.
So the question is, do we go back to the bush, more of the same, or do we say, oh well, and call it short? There's no point in touring. There's no point in touring the coast because we were told, we asked, the most congested place in Western Australia, second only to Exmouth, is Shark Bay. You cannot move. This is what we've been told. And we were going to go to Shark Bay.
Which is quite sad because I was really looking forward to that.
But the great part about it is Shark Bay is 8 hours to 9 hours drive from our home in Perth. So
Another time.
That's not. Here is 2 day, an easy 2 day drive home from here. Can I survive the night with this face brick? That's now the immediate challenge. And that picture of the fish, not helping. I think the idea this morning should be that we just tour the peninsula and just have a look at this beautiful part of the world, knowing that we can't stay here unless we go back in town and stay.
Yeah, so Andrew's leapt out of the car to go and take some more footage of the caravan park, and I was watching him and I was just thinking about why people would want to come and caravan right next to each other. And it just struck me that everybody's different, and you've got to honor and respect that. For the people here, the sea is literally just across the road. You walk out the caravan park, cross the road, over a mound, and the sea's there. So if all you're wanting to do is go out with your surfboard or go out fishing, this is the perfect spot. They're not after wilderness. Oh, you're back.
Yeah.
They're not after wilderness. They're not looking for what we want to look, what we want to find.
You're talking about these people?
Yeah, and I actually think it's great because diversity is perfect. Diversity is exactly what makes the world tick. And if we didn't have diversity, it would be so boring. Imagine if everybody here was
out in the bush.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. So
We would have nothing.
So we're right up there at the moment, there. So we're going to take the road that travels all the way around the peninsula, like this, all the way down, popping into beaches on the way down. No chance of camping, it's not going to happen. But we are going to look at some of the beaches and all the way down to Coral Bay.
pair of landlubbers, we don't even take our boots off, really, you know. We just don't know how to appreciate the sea.
Just stunning. Okay.
There's a name for this colour. It's called travel brochure blue.
The reef, right on the edge here. The water just cuts down. Part of what makes this place unique, World Heritage Site, is the Ningaloo Reef. And if you can see in the distance, there's a line of breakers all the way down this coast for what must be 200 or so kilometers. There is the reef, and on the reef the wildlife is absolutely sensational, but it means that the shoreline is protected against the big waves, which you can see in the distance. So this, by its very nature, will make an astonishing place to go snorkeling. You know, we have to come back. We have to book. We'll try and find some of the best smaller campsites, and we need to come snorkel this. I mean, it's a 2-day drive from home. That's not extreme. We just need to plan better.
And make the most of what we have here now.
There won't be too many people on it.
There are some off-road tracks leading down to the sea, and we hear even a 4-wheel drive track that heads southwards along the coast.
You see? The brush has many uses and purposes. A apart from just sweeping out tents. Except now I've got to put my foot back in the sand.
Yeah. Yes.
So you're going to have to carry
You are
me
as
to
mad
the
as that
car.
brush, I tell you.
You're going to have to do your conjugal duty and carry me to the car.
Yeah, right. Those days are long. Were there ever any days that I
when
did
we
that?
first met, when I was
Could I
still-
pick you up? Could I pick you up?
If you'd really tried.
Oh, that's why I've got such bad sciatica now.
Oh dear me. Got to be able to laugh at yourself.
You get a lot of practice.
Oh, I'll smack you with my brush.
Okay. Sorry. It's not going to work, is it?
No, not really.
Because we have to now drive out of here. And the sand is very, very thick, and I've got to turn around at it.
Well, maybe we should just wait it out because you've got to let down the tires. Because you don't let
I'm going
down
to try without letting down tires and rely on my skill and cunning. Don't look at me like that.
skill and cunning. Okay.
So you would be outside filming.
Yeah, it's bucketing down with rain, so I don't get paid enough.
Or I gun it
Now
now.
you gun it.
I gun it now. What do you reckon?
Okay,
you gonna do it?
should I? You've got the dash cam. Yeah, go for it. Ready, steady. Well done, my Droony. Hey, you're not just a pretty face.
Not even that. That was fun.
Now your
Seatbelt.
is it your seatbelt, not your tire pressure?
No, 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 no.
This looks very promising. This track runs down the coast for almost 100 kilometres, hugging the sea.
Crossed the Yardie Creek. Now taking a back road track through the reserve south. The alternative is to go all the way back around that felt a bit boring to us. So this is the only four-wheel drive route in the Rangers National Park. The track that goes all the way down south is this completely wild track. You are allowed to camp wild as long as you're not inside the Rangers National Park, and we've just left it, and I'm thinking that we could wild camp here. I'm not sure if you're allowed to, but it was distinctive: no wild camping in Rangers National Park. Not no wild camping on the entire peninsula. And well, look at the road, it's wild.
Let's get further from the park. Let's get more into the wilderness, because this road goes all the way down to Coral Bay.
And which is will take us the whole day on this at this speed to get to Coral Bay on this road.
Yep.
Soon after leaving the Rangers National Park boundary, people camping started to appear.
We are so lucky. So lucky. Too boring to film, but this entire coastline is controlled. We've met some friendly people that run one of the beaches here. They gave us a telephone number instead of internet, because the internet says everything's full. We called them, and then had some late cancellations or something. But that person, a human as opposed to a computer, said, "Is space," and not a lot, but we got lucky. So we booked a place for 2 nights on the sea.
It turns out that these wild campsites need to be booked well in advance in most cases. Luckily for us, we met some very helpful people. We're directed to a cell tower where we managed to make a booking online. There were 2 sites left. We really did get lucky.
I know some people love camp cooking and they make an absolute art of it, and their food is just amazing to eat. I'm not one of those people. I'm a bit of a Philistine, I suppose, really. But the fact of the matter is, I've been cooking for so long, I'm so over it, whether it's at home or here or whatever. So for me, it's always the path of least resistance. If I can do it in one pot, I will. And in fact, I even go so far as to make a whole lot of ready meals before I come camping. And I stick them in the freezer and we haul them out and we often eat those. So you won't be getting massive camp cooking tips from me unless you like simple.
Good morning. We have made up a rudimentary piece of shade for ourselves. One of the things, the pieces of equipment that I have actually missed on this trip is a easy to open awning. But we've done something with our tarp and we'll be in good shape. And while I admit to being highly allergic to cramped campgrounds, this kind of situation doesn't actually worry me in the slightest, until the moment somebody plays music. And then I lose all sensibilities and I have to leave. But everybody here's been very quiet overnight, no loud parties. It's actually fine, absolutely fine. So we're done.
Yeah, come to the end. It's sad, hey?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Actually been brilliant. And for a while I thought there's no ways we're going to get a good spot on the beach, but we were wrong. We got lucky. Very privileged I am to be able to visit some of the world's most beautiful spots. Very, very privileged indeed. I'm very privileged as well to have a wife like Gwyn. supports everything I do, always supportive, funny. We laugh at anything, and I get to do this kind of traveling with her. I'm a really, really lucky guy. And you guys out there, you Patreons that support and make this possible, thanks again. I know I thank you guys a lot, but it's the difference between me doing this and doing something else. So we're going to head off. We're going to head south of home tomorrow. We'll probably do it in 2 days. Wander back, and we'll plan for some of those places that we did earmark for this trip. We will go. We will find time to go back there. And
Yeah. I've got a question.
yeah.
Plan.
Plan.
People are probably wondering to themselves how we plan our trips because they're very, very ad hoc.
They are ad hoc.
The truth is we don't like to plan our trips other than a basic route.
we love the idea of not knowing where we're going to be that night. There's something about that, because also what it means is that if you discover some place that's really amazing, well, then just spend another day there. I mean, 2 of our campsites were less than an hour's drive apart.
Yeah, we just saw something beautiful,
beautiful.
and we decided to stay.
Yeah.
Which is why we not great about booking things, but I think if we're going to come back here, you've got to book.
I think we will have to book. We've learned that, in fact, as wild as this coast is, it's not as wild as you'd think, and not as wild as we would like it to be. We have to find the places that we really want to come to. We'll book.
We'll break with tradition.
So now, from later this year, we're building a studio in Perth. We've bought a property. We're building a proper studio, and it's going to be an environment where we're going to be able to test a lot of other camping equipment and kit, and not actually have to go on big trips when we want to review a small product. We won't.
And in fact, we've spoken a lot about
Our studio on this trip in
our
the car.
studio.
A lot. So that's coming up. That's coming up soon. In fact,
And not only are we having a studio, but we're having some chickens as well. Some chooks.
chickens and major vegetable garden, and it's
yeah.
really, really nice for us to be able to say, after six and a half years since we sold our last property, we now own property, and this one's for us pretty special.
Yeah.
It's just the 2 of us again. All the kids are gone, just the 2 of us. We actually pretty
Quite excited.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for watching.
Take care.
See you next time. And there you go.
Done. Swatting flies.
So all these people walking past watching us vlogging.
Logging.
Yeah, but not with us with a decent camera. Did you turn the microphone on?
I was not in charge of the camera department.
It's on. Sorry. It's on. I turned it on.
Crack you.
I got you. Hook, line and sinker.